I never told my therapist the truth about what happened in that apartment because I wanted to be better, but not at the cost of breaking apart the version of me everyone thinks survived, so I laughed it off, like trauma could be tamed with words I didn't feel safe saying out loud. I was cleaning the counter when it came back. Not the whole memory. Just the smell. Lemon-scented cleaner and something else, something old, maybe mold or wet drywall. It reminded me of that apartment. The one I lived in with Nathan. It's strange how your body remembers things before your mind does. I stood there, rag in hand, and felt a wave of something I couldn't name. My stomach clenched. My throat tightened. And then, like a reflex, I said out loud, that place was awful. Just loud enough for no one to hear. I say things like that sometimes. Little jokes. Easy truths that don't sound like pain. I've gotten good at that, keeping things shallow. Like skimming the surface of a pool I know has no bottom. I've been in therapy for a while now. My therapist's name is Claire. She's soft-voiced, steady, never pushes too hard. I like her. I think that's why I don't tell her everything. She thinks I left Nathan because I was tired of the relationship. She knows there was emotional manipulation. She knows I struggle with trust. But she doesn't know how bad it got. Because I never told her about the closet. That's the part that still makes my hands sweat. The closet in that apartment, narrow, old sliding doors that stuck when it rained. He never told me to go in there. He never locked me inside. That would have made it easier to explain. No, I put myself in there. The first time was during a fight. He was in the kitchen, yelling about something stupid, a bill I forgot to pay, a voicemail I didn't tell him about. His voice didn't rise, but his words got sharper. I said something back. Something small. I don't even remember what it was. He didn't hit me. He didn't touch me. He just walked up to me, got real close, and said, "You know what your problem is? You always need to be the victim." And I felt this drop in my chest. Like something slipping. And I walked into the closet, closed the door, and sat down on a pile of winter coats. Not crying. Just quiet. I stayed in there for almost an hour. He didn't come looking for me. That was the worst part. After that, it became a habit. When things got tense, when his silence felt like knives, I'd go into the closet. Like a dog hiding under the bed. I don't know what I thought it would do. Maybe I just wanted to disappear until he turned into someone else. Claire once asked me, was there ever a moment you felt afraid of him? I said no. Then I laughed. Just annoyed. He was kind of a control freak. She nodded. Wrote something down. I changed the subject. The thing is, I wanted to get better. I still do. But healing is tricky when people see you as someone who already did. My family thinks I handled it so well. My friends say, "You're so strong for leaving." They don't know I slept in my car the night I left because I didn't have anywhere else to go. They don't know I still flinch when someone walks in the room without making noise. And Claire, she sees progress. She sees someone who talks openly, who laughs at her own past, who's rebuilding. She doesn't see the part of me that froze up in Target last month because someone's cologne smelled like his. She doesn't see the version of me that still dreams of sitting in that closet with the light off, counting my own breaths like a metronome. There's this voice in my head that says if I tell the real story, it'll break everything. Not just the story I tell Claire. But the whole version of myself I built since then. The version that's okay now. The version that survived. Because if I let myself go back into that apartment, into the hallway where I used to hold my breath, into the bathroom where I once sat on the floor for 3 hours because he slammed a door too hard, I don't know who I'll be when I come out. I don't want to be a victim again. I don't want people to pity me. So I keep it short. Polished. Digestible. I say things like, "We weren't good together." Or, "It taught me a lot." Or, I left when I realized it wasn't healthy. What I don't say is, I left because I couldn't keep hiding in the closet anymore. I never told Claire about that apartment. Not really. Not the worst parts. Because the truth is, I'm scared the full version of me, the scared, broken one, won't be someone worth knowing. So I laugh. I talk about growth. I make it sound like trauma is something you can explain. But it isn't. I didn't expect to see him again. It had been almost 3 years since I left. I'd moved to another city, started over. I had a new job, new routines. I told myself I was safe. That the past was in a box somewhere I didn't have to open again. Then last Thursday, I was walking into a CVS after work, just grabbing shampoo and cereal, and he walked out. Nathan. He looked almost the same. Maybe a little thinner. Same jacket. Same way of walking, like the sidewalk owed him something. For a second, I thought I imagined it. But then he looked right at me. And he smiled. Not shocked. Not angry. Just like he saw an old friend. My body shut down before my mind could catch up. I didn't say anything. I just turned and walked straight back to my car, hands shaking so hard I dropped my keys. I sat in the parking lot for half an hour, trying to remember how to breathe. I didn't tell Claire. I almost did. I had a session the next day. I even brought it up, said something about running into someone I used to know. She asked if it was hard. I said, no. Just weird. She nodded, kind like always. I think she knew there was more, but she didn't push. I'm good at hiding it. Later that night, I checked my door 3 times before going to bed. I turned on the hallway light and left it on. I haven't done that in years. But something shifted that day. It's like seeing him cracked the glass I'd been looking through. I started remembering things I hadn't in a long time. Like how he used to text me constantly when I wasn't home. How he'd joke about installing cameras. How he once deleted my friend's number off my phone because he didn't trust her. And there's something I've never admitted, not even to myself until recently. He never said I couldn't leave. But every time I got close, he'd unravel. Cry. Talk about how much he needed me. How lost he'd be without me. And I believed it. I stayed because I didn't want to be the reason he broke. And maybe, deep down, I thought I deserved it. That's the part one hate the most. Not what he did, but what I accepted. How small I let myself become just to keep the peace. How I laughed when he mocked me, so he wouldn't go silent. How I started to believe I was too emotional, too dramatic, too much. Claire thinks I'm healing. And I am, in some ways. But I don't think she knows I still sleep with the door locked. That I still flinch when someone uses a certain tone. That I still keep a packed bag in the back of my closet just in case. I've told her versions of the story. But not the real one. Because I'm scared if I say it all out loud, it'll make it real in a way I can't control. And I'm scared that if she sees how deep it goes, how far I disappeared inside that apartment, she won't look at me the same way. And maybe worse. I won't either. About a week after I saw Nathan at CVS, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Just my name, written in blocky letters. The kind you use when you don't want your handwriting recognized. Inside was a photo. It was me, sitting on the back steps of that old apartment. I remember that day. It was late fall. I was wearing his hoodie because mine was in the laundry. My hair was tied up, and I was looking down at my phone. Just a normal moment. But I'd never seen that photo before. It was taken from across the street, probably behind a car window or a tree. It was blurry, but not enough to hide the truth. He'd been watching me. Back then. Probably for a while. I stared at the photo for a long time. Not scared, exactly. Just, violated all over again. That version of me, the one in the picture, she didn't know she was being watched. She didn't know she'd find that photo years later and feel like her skin didn't fit anymore. I didn't tell anyone. Not Claire. Not my sister. Because what would I say? Hey, remember that guy I never really explained? The one I downplayed so I could seem like I had my shit together? Well, turns out he might have been stalking me before I even left. It felt too late to suddenly admit the truth. I folded the photo back into the envelope and shoved it into a drawer. Told myself I'd throw it away later. But I haven't. I keep taking it out at night and looking at it. Not because I want to, I hate how it makes me feel. But there's this part of me, a dark quiet part, that thinks maybe I need to see it. Maybe I need to remember exactly who he was. What I ignored. Because the truth is, I've started hearing things. Not in a paranoid way. Just, little things. Footsteps outside my apartment that don't stop when they should. A shadow near my car window one night that was gone when I looked again. Once, I came home and my front door was unlocked. I thought I'd made a mistake, but I never forget to lock it. I keep brushing it off. Telling myself it's anxiety. Trauma echoes. But deep down, something feels off. And part of me wonders if this is why I never told Claire everything. Maybe I knew, even back then, that the story wasn't over yet. Maybe I knew that if I let people see how close I came to disappearing in that apartment, they'd start asking why I didn't run sooner. And I still don't have a good answer. I always thought if I kept quiet, if I played the part of the one who made it out, the past would lose its grip on me. But holding that photo, I realized something I didn't want to admit. I never really left that apartment. Not all the way. Part of me is still sitting in that closet, lights off, trying not to make a sound. And now I don't know what scares me more, that he might come back, or that if he does, some part of me still won't know how to scream.